What's up everybody, welcome back to A Ball and a Goal. My name is Cornel and in this video I'm gonna go over some numbers from the first weekend of action in the Premier League and try to make sense of what happened in game week 1. Now before I do that, it's worth mentioning that some teams have played a home fixture, some teams have played an away fixture, some teams have played a better opposition, some teams have played a weaker opposition, and some teams have even played with an extra man, Brighton for 25 minutes against Everton and Southampton for about an hour against Newcastle. So with that in mind, let's look at the data. And we're gonna start with players XG, expected goals. Fernandes, he finished the game week 1 with the highest number of expected goals at 1.19, and I have to say Fernandes owners really should feel unfortunate because he didn't get anything in return. Other than that, on this list, Soucek, he got 1 assist, finished with 1.10. Visa, also a goal and an assist, he finished with 1.00. Mitoma got a goal, 0.97. Diogo Jota, 0.95, also got a goal. And Jamie Vardy with a goal at 0.80. It's worth mentioning here with Vardy, if he can stay fit at 37, it's not going to be easy. But if he can stay fit, I was watching that Leicester-Tottenham game, and I don't see anybody else scoring for Leicester except Jamie Vardy. Probably the midfielders will chip in with a couple of goals from time to time, but other than that, he is the focal point of that team, and definitely at 5.5 he offers great value once again if he stays fit. And in my opinion, he's one of the best finishers in the league. I also have here on this list Christopher Ayer from Brentford, because he is the defender who finished with the highest goal expectancy the first game week with 0.28. Let's take a look at expected assists. First one on this list, Trent Alexander-Arnold. No surprises here. He finished with 1.00. He should have had 1, to be honest. Diogo Jota missed a header from 6 yards out. It still hurts because that would have been like 8 more points for my team. Madison, he did okay, especially in the first half. He's on corners, free kicks, got an assist, finished with 0.98. Mintech, at his debut in the Premier League, got an assist. He only played 45 minutes. He was taking off as a precautionary measure. He finished with 0.66. Fatawu, Leicester winger, 0.60, got an assist and also I think 3 bonus points. And then Casemiro with 0.50 and Kudus with 0.47. Obviously, if Soucek had such a high expectancy of goals, somebody from West Ham had to have a high expectancy of assists. Then let's take a look at chances created. And here on this list, the first one is Andreas Pereira with 6, which makes me think I should have picked him instead of Emil Smith-Rowe in my team. Other than that, Saka with 5 and Pedro Porro with 4, no surprises here, and also Thomas Partey with 4. Now let's go and see the number of total shots, and here we have Eze from Crystal Palace, first one with 7, and Fernandes second with 6. Now, if you had both Eze and Fernandes in your team, you definitely are extremely unlucky because none of them return anything. Then Soucek with 5, he really was a pain in the backside for Aston Villa defense. Adam Armstrong with 5 as well. again, it's worth mentioning that Southampton play for about an hour with an extra man, so I guess this number is a little bit inflated due to that. And then 2 players from Arsenal, Havertz and Saka, both with 5, and 2 players from Bournemouth, Semenyo and Tavernier, both with 5. Next, let's take a look at shots on target. And there's 6 players that finished the first game week of the season with 3 shots on target, which is a very good number for one game. And that's Eze, Fernandez and Solanke. They didn't return. And then Saka, Mitoma and Salah that return points to their owners. So everybody here with 3 shots on target. One more thing that I want to look at, and I only do this just to illustrate how wide Cole Palmer played in the Chelsea-Manchester City game, is successful crosses in. And you can see here on this list, everybody else except Palmer is either a fullback or a winger, basically. And just to do a side note here, if you have Palmer or Nkunku in your team, I think you should keep them a little bit longer, because I just think Maresca tried in that game with the midfield of Fernandez, Caicedo and Lavia to stop Manchester City from recovering the ball in the middle of the park and caught them in transition, which it worked to a certain extent up until the moment Kovacic scored a goal. But yeah, so also you can see here on this list 3 players from Leicester: Christiansen, James Justin and Fatawu, all of them with 2 successful crosses. Vardy being the focal point in that team, like I said. Pedro Porro, Neco Williams and Somerville from West Ham, which I think came on as a substitute for around 20 minutes at the end. All of them with 2. Alright, next thing we're gonna look at team data. First thing, team expected goals. There are 4 teams that finish with more than 2.0 expected goals, and this is Liverpool with 2.65, West Ham United with 2.46, Manchester United with 2.43 and Aston Villa with 2.03. Total numbers of shots per team. And no surprises here, Southampton first with 19. Again, they played with an extra man for around an hour. Then Liverpool and Arsenal with 18, and Aston Villa and Spurs with 15. Total number of shots from inside the box. And you got Southampton with 13, Spurs, Arsenal and Liverpool with 12, West Ham with 11 and Aston Villa with 10. And the total number of shots on target, surprise for me, Nottingham Forest with 8, Spurs with 7, Arsenal with 6 and Crystal Palace with 6 as well. Now one thing it's worth mentioning, that the only teams that have high expected goals and high number of shots and also high number of shots from inside the box are Liverpool and Aston Villa. And also, the only teams that have a high number of shots, a high number of shots on target, and a high number of shots from inside the box are Spurs and Arsenal. So the last thing I want to talk about is one thing that I really like actually, and it's the difference between the goals and the expected goals, because it really shows how lucky or efficient some teams are in front of the goal, and on the other hand how unfortunate or wasteful other teams are. And I only have here the teams that are above +1 and -1, because I think the range between +1 and -1 it's reasonably okay to be in. So Brighton and Manchester City, call them efficient, call them clinical, call them lucky. They finish with plus 1.57 Brighton and plus 1.23 Manchester City. And on the other end, call them unlucky or wasteful, lack of composure in front of goal. Southampton with minus 1.77, West Ham United with minus 1.46, Manchester United with minus 1.43, and Chelsea with minus 1.01. So if you look at Chelsea, for example, if it wasn't for Nicolas Jackson's lack of discipline and composure, they actually should have scored at least one goal in that game, like the data suggests. I don't have it here on the screen, but another thing caught my attention, and I want to mention this because it is important sometimes to look at the data and to realize that it can help us see the bigger picture. I was watching the Leicester Tottenham game, and during the first half I had a feeling that it's probably the most one-sided half that I've seen over the weekend, and probably it was. And then at the end the game ended 1-1 in a draw. And I had a feeling that is unfair and that Tottenham should have won the game. But if you look at the expected goals, actually Leicester finished with 1.05 and Tottenham with 1.18, which means that although Tottenham created more chances, when it comes to clear-cut chances, they're pretty much even. So in the end, the result was fair. So that should do it for this video. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Until next time, bye bye.